There comes a moment in every human life when the noise of the world becomes unbearable. When every voice outside screams for your attention, every demand inside competes for your energy, and every thought collides with another in a war that never ends. In that chaos, the weak seek distraction. The average man seeks escape. But the rarest among men, the builders of empires, the makers of legacies, the masters of destiny, they do not flee the noise. They rise above it. They find stillness not as absence of movement, but as presence of mastery. Stillness is not idleness. It is power contained, direction controlled, energy harnessed. It is the silence before the strike, the breath before the command, the mind before the motion. The one who learns to still his mind learns to govern his world. For the external is always a reflection of the internal, and chaos without is only a mirror of chaos within. You have been taught to move fast, to react, to chase. But what has that produced? Confusion, exhaustion, inconsistency. You have been told that progress means constant motion. Yet the wisest among men have always known the opposite, that motion without mastery is noise, that activity without accuracy is futility, and that the most dangerous form of wasted energy is emotional reactivity. To master stillness is to regain control over your own machinery. The mind is the engine of your destiny. Emotion is its fuel. But without direction, even the most powerful engine destroys itself. You must learn to control the flame, to decide when to burn and when to wait. The one who can hold his fire commands it. The one who cannot becomes consumed by it. When you are still, you see. When you are calm, you know. When you are detached, you decide. Every form of weakness is born in the inability to pause. The man who cannot wait cannot think. The man who cannot think cannot win. The masters of this world are those who have disciplined themselves to act not from emotion but from reason, not from impulse but from principle. The beginning of mastery is observation. Watch yourself. Observe your reactions as if they belonged to another. Each irritation, each fear, each rush of anger is a messenger revealing your ungoverned places. The world is not your enemy. It is your mirror. It does not provoke you. It exposes you. When you react, you are ruled. When you respond, you rule. To be still is not to do nothing. It is to do only what is necessary, only what is effective, only what serves the definite purpose of your vision. Every moment you spend reacting, you surrender power. Every second you spend observing, you reclaim it. Power is the ability to choose your direction regardless of circumstance. It is the freedom to move when others freeze and to wait when others rush. There is a law in the universe, rhythm. Everything moves in cycles, tides, seasons, breath, wealth, opportunity. The foolish man fights the rhythm and burns out. The wise man learns to move with it and prospers. Stillness is the art of synchronization with the natural rhythm of success. It is not stagnation, it is harmony. He who acts at the wrong time, even with right intention, fails. But he who waits for alignment calmly, confidently, without fear or haste, turns every moment into advantage. Stillness is alignment. It is the ability to wait without anxiety, to act without doubt, to persist without strain. There is strength in serenity that no frenzy can match. The calm man commands attention because his composure suggests control. People are drawn to order. They sense in the still man a rare confidence, the unspoken authority of one who has mastered himself. You will notice that when you remain calm, the world bends toward you. Opportunities come to those who are not desperate for them. Solutions reveal themselves to those whose minds are quiet enough to see them. The universe favors order. Your emotions, when ungoverned, create disorder, confusion, haste, waste. When you are still, you harmonize with the fundamental law of creation. It is through stillness that the soil receives the seed, that the heart receives wisdom, that the mind receives vision. You cannot think deeply while you are emotionally turbulent. Great ideas are born in silence. Great decisions are made in calm. Therefore, cultivate stillness as the highest form of strength. Let your calmness be your armor. When chaos rises around you, remain unmoved. When insult comes, remain silent. When fear tempts you to act without plan, remain watchful. To remain still when the world moves wildly is not weakness, it is sovereignty. It is the mark of one who no longer lives at the mercy of circumstance but commands it. Understand this principle. Emotion is the currency of energy. Spend it foolishly, and you become poor in spirit. Save it wisely, and you become rich in power. Every argument, every overreaction, every needless complaint is a leak in your reservoir of strength. Discipline is the art of conservation, the refusal to waste energy on the unworthy. You have been conditioned to equate reaction with strength, to believe that expression is power. But the truth is the opposite. The strongest man is the one who remains unshaken. Stillness is not emptiness. It is fullness under control. A river appears calm on the surface, yet beneath flows unstoppable force. That is the power you must cultivate: serenity with depth, composure with intensity, calmness with purpose. Definiteness of purpose is the anchor of stillness. When you know exactly what you are building, distraction loses its power. You cannot be swayed by opinion when your direction is clear. You cannot be provoked by insult when your vision consumes you. The mind fixed on a great aim naturally withdraws from trivial battles. Purpose simplifies everything. Therefore, define your purpose with clarity so sharp that no emotion can blur it. Write it, repeat it, guard it. Let it be the filter through which every thought, every decision, every reaction must pass. Ask always, does this serve my purpose? If not, detach. The undisciplined react to everything. The master reacts to nothing that does not advance his goal. Self-discipline is the foundation of emotional mastery. Discipline is not punishment, it is precision. It is the training of mind and body to obey purpose. Without discipline, emotion becomes tyranny. With discipline, emotion becomes tool. Every impulse you restrain strengthens your will. Every temptation you conquer increases your authority. Discipline is the invisible architecture that supports all greatness. You cannot master what you refuse to measure. Observe your emotional triggers. Record them. When do you lose patience? When do you surrender focus? When do you let others dictate your mood? Each observation is a key to control. You cannot change what you do not understand. Awareness is the first discipline of detachment. Autosuggestion is the weapon of reprogramming. The mind becomes what it is most consistently told. Speak to yourself not as a victim but as a commander. Repeat daily, I am calm, I am in control. I move only when it serves my purpose. These are not empty affirmations. They are commands issued to the subconscious, and the subconscious always obeys its commander. The subconscious mind is the silent engine of habit. It cannot distinguish between truth and repetition. Therefore, feed it repetition until your calmness becomes reflex, until your detachment becomes instinct. The man who must fight for calm is still a student. The man who remains calm without effort has graduated to mastery. To achieve accurate thinking, emotion must be disciplined. Emotion distorts perception. It colors facts with fantasy, opinion with fear. Accurate thinking demands neutrality, the ability to separate truth from bias. The calm mind sees reality as it is. The reactive mind sees only fragments shaped by feeling. To think accurately is to think without contamination. When you master emotional detachment, you stop interpreting everything as personal. You cease to take offense at the inevitable imperfections of others. You understand that most conflicts are collisions of emotion, not clashes of truth. You learn to see beyond behavior into cause. This gives you the ability to influence rather than react, to guide rather than resist. Power belongs to those who can remain still when the world moves. The masses live in constant reaction, reacting to news, to gossip, to fear, to failure. Their lives are chains of cause and effect dictated by others. But the master breaks the chain. He becomes cause. His stillness creates a gravitational field of order around him. The principle of thought first governs all success. Before every result is an action. Before every action a thought, and before every thought a choice of focus. Focus determines fate. You cannot control the entire world, but you can control the direction of your attention, and attention is the seed of creation. Whatever you dwell upon expands. Therefore, discipline your attention to dwell on truth, on purpose, On progress, the still mind is selective. It chooses its inputs. It guards its gates. It refuses gossip, rejects negativity, ignores noise. It feeds only on what strengthens its system. What you feed grows. What you starve dies. Feed your vision daily. Starve your doot. Stillness is not withdrawal from life. It is deeper participation. It allows you to act from alignment rather than agitation. Most people move, but few advance. They mistake speed for progress. But speed without direction leads to exhaustion, not achievement. The still man moves less, but each move is decisive. His steps are few but final. To live by stillness is to live by law. You begin to see that life rewards order, not chaos, clarity, not confusion, patience, not panic. You begin to understand that nature herself operates in stillness. The tree grows silently, the sun rises calmly, the ocean flows without hurry, strength never shouts, power never announces. If you would move life in your favor, first learn to move nothing within you. Make your inner world so calm that the external can no longer disturb it. Make your mind so ordered that chaos exhausts itself in your presence. Make your emotions so obedient that your will moves through them as light through glass. Then, and only then, will you understand the real meaning of success, not the accumulation of things, but the mastery of self. For once you govern the kingdom within, everything without must fall into its rightful place. Every man is tested not when the world is kind to him, but when it turns cold. It is easy to speak of discipline and comfort, easy to promise stillness when the air is calm. But when storms rise, when insult strikes, when fear whispers, when uncertainty spreads, then the measure of mastery is revealed. The undisciplined mind collapses beneath emotion. The trained mind becomes motionless, watchful, deliberate. It is in adversity that stillness proves its worth. Calmness is not born from luxury. It is forged in resistance. Every challenge is a forge, and every emotion is molten metal waiting for shape. You must step into that heat willingly, not to be destroyed, but to be refined. Each time you resist reaction, your inner steel hardens. Each time you choose patience over panic, you temper your will. The process is slow, but it is irreversible. Once forged, such calm cannot be broken by external noise. This is the law of mental neutrality, the ability to remain unmoved in the face of duality. The universe moves in pairs, gain and loss, praise and blame, joy and sorrow. The untrained mind swings violently between them, loving one and fearing the other. But the mastermind remains poised between both, seeing them as two faces of the same principal experience. The neutral mind does not celebrate success nor lament failure. It studies both, extracts the lesson, and advances. Neutrality is the equilibrium of kings. It is not coldness, it is comprehension. The neutral man sees through illusion. He knows that no event is inherently good or bad. It is only raw material awaiting interpretation. The reactive mind interprets everything emotionally. The neutral mind interprets everything intelligently. Ask yourself, how many of your failures came not from the event itself, but from your reaction to it? How many opportunities were lost because you allowed emotion to dictate judgment? Anger blinds, fear paralyses, excitement distorts. Each emotion, when unexamined, becomes a fog between you and truth. Neutrality clears that fog. It does not deny feeling. It observes it until clarity returns. The mind that remains calm under pressure is capable of accurate thought. Accurate thinking is the foundation of all success. It demands that you separate facts from opinions, cause from effect, principle from appearance. The emotionally reactive confuse these constantly. They treat rumor as truth, assumption as evidence, and feeling as fact. The disciplined mind demands proof. It is neither pessimist nor optimist. It is realist. It asks, what law is operating here? And acts accordingly. If you allow emotions to govern your actions, you forfeit your power. But if you command your thoughts, you command your future. This is not a metaphor, it is a law. Thought is the first cause of all creation. Action is merely its servant. Therefore, the one who can direct thought commands all that follows. To think accurately, you must first silence the emotional noise that corrupts perception. Do not rush to conclusions when provoked. Do not speak when stirred. Let time reveal truth. The calm mind sees what haste hides. He who pauses for thought saves years of correction. You will find that stillness brings clarity so profound that you begin to see connections others miss. The frantic see fragments, the calm see patterns. The frantic chase results, the calm adjusts causes. The frantic beg opportunity, the calm attract it. Stillness, practiced long enough, becomes foresight. When your mind is quiet, intuition, that subtle intelligence beyond reason, begins to speak. It has always been there, whispering beneath the noise. But emotion drowns it out. Intuition is the voice of harmony between conscious and subconscious, the bridge between mind and universal intelligence. It does not shout, it reveals. To hear it, you must be still. You must also understand the rhythm of effort and rest. There is a pulse to achievement, inhale and exhale, action and recovery. The undisciplined push until they collapse. The wise work, then withdraw. In stillness, energy renews itself. The machine that never stops breaks. The mind that never pauses dulls. Rest is not laziness, it is recalibration. To rest consciously is to maintain efficiency. Do not confuse emotional detachment with emotional absence. To be detached is not to feel less, but to feel more clearly. The detached man experiences emotion without drowning in it. He channels it into action. Emotion is a messenger. Detachment reads the message without destroying the messenger. This is why stillness appears unfeeling to the reactive. They mistake composure for emptiness because they cannot comprehend control. They believe that to care is to collapse, that to feel is to fall. But the master knows that feeling, when directed, becomes power. Detachment is not distance, it is direction. Every great leader, every builder of nations, every genius who left a mark upon the world possessed this power of neutrality. They were not unfeeling, they were disciplined. They did not act because of anger, but in spite of it. They did not move because of fear, but beyond it. They understood the principle. Emotion is energy, but only order gives energy value. Think of the Sunday. It burns continuously, but it gives life because it moves in perfect order. Uncontrolled fire destroys. Disciplined fire illuminates. The same is true of your mind. Discipline turns chaos into creation. When others panic, be still. When others rush, wait. When others doubt, think. Your calmness will offend them because it exposes their instability. They will call you detached, arrogant, cold. Let them. They cannot understand the silence of strength, for they only know the noise of fear. True calmness is unbothered by misunderstanding. You must learn to live without constant validation. The weak need recognition. The strong need alignment. You cannot serve two masters, emotion and purpose. Choose purpose, and emotion will serve you. Purpose itself is stillness in motion. It moves with direction, never haste. It acts from clarity, never compulsion. When your life revolves around purpose, distractions lose their grip. The man without purpose reacts to everything. The man of purpose responds only to what matters. The next law is that of transmutation, the conversion of emotional energy into constructive power. Every emotion carries force. When you feel anger, you have energy. When you feel fear, you have energy. The undisciplined waste it through reaction. The disciplined convert it through reflection. Anger becomes determination. Fear becomes preparation. Desire becomes strategy. This is no poetic fancy. It is a technique of mastery. When emotion arises, ask, what can this energy build? Then redirect it into action that serves your goal. The undisciplined man burns his life in explosions. The disciplined man channels his fire through engines. Stillness is the laboratory where transmutation occurs. In silence, emotion loses its edge and becomes insight. The energy that once expressed itself as turmoil becomes the spark of creation. From this process arise inventions, ideas, and movements that alter history. The man who can transmute his pain into power is unstoppable. You will notice that as you refine this practice, others will begin to orbit your composure. Chaos seeks order. Confusion seeks clarity. Weakness seeks strength. Your stillness will become magnetic. People will trust you because you are unshaken. Opportunity will favor you because reliability is rare. Power will flow toward you because the universe rewards the organized. But beware of pride. Pride is the corruption of calmness. It makes the disciplined rigid, the wise arrogant, the successful blind. Stay humble in your mastery. Remember, you do not control the laws, you cooperate with them. Violate them, and they will humble you swiftly. Maintain your stillness through gratitude. Gratitude dissolves pride. When you are thankful, you remain aware that your order is borrowed from universal order. You align with harmony rather than attempt to possess it. The humble master endures where the proud destroy themselves. Stillness, at its highest level, becomes harmony with truth itself. You cease to separate yourself from life. You begin to move with it. You do not force, you flow. You do not chase, you attract. You do not strive, you synchronize. This is the essence of letting life move in your favor. Do not mistake flow for passivity. It is participation without friction. It is action so aligned with principle that it appears effortless. When you operate from stillness, resistance decreases, efficiency increases, results multiply. You act in rhythm with law instead of against it. The river reaches the ocean not by force, but by flow. It does not climb hills. It finds the path of least resistance through patience. The mountain stands not by movement, but by stillness. The stars rule not through motion, but through orbit. Learn from them. Their strength lies not in struggle, but in order. When your mind becomes still, life begins to cooperate with you. Coincidences appear, but they are not coincidences. They are consequences of alignment. Opportunities arrive, but they are not random. They are results of readiness. You do not chase success. You become the kind of person success must seek. The reactive man begs for opportunity. The disciplined man builds the conditions that demand it. Life always moves in favor of the still because stillness is the state of perfect receptivity. It is not weakness, it is readiness. In this silence, you begin to see the secret hidden in plain sight, that the entire universe is self-organizing toward order. It rewards those who mirror its structure. The calm, the patient, the disciplined, they are nature's favorites. Every failure you have ever endured can be traced to one thing: disconnection from stillness. You rushed, you reacted, you feared, and so you violated rhythm. Every triumph you have ever tasted came from alignment from the moment you paused, planned, and acted with precision. Success is not luck, it is law. Stillness is law obeyed, noise is law resisted. Choose which you will serve. You will reach a point in your journey where silence feels more productive than speech. You will find yourself listening more than talking, observing more than reacting, planning more than performing. That is not stagnation, that is consolidation. The mind is gathering force, preparing for decisive movement. Trust that process. The bow must draw back before it releases power. When you act from stillness, you no longer struggle to prove. You no longer seek to impress. You no longer measure yourself by comparison. You move because movement serves your purpose, not your ego. That is mastery. The masses chase movement because they fear stillness. It forces them to face themselves. But the wise run toward stillness, for they know that in the quiet, the real work begins. The greatest battle you will ever fight is between the noise of emotion and the voice of order. Win that battle daily, and all others will bow to you. In time, stillness becomes your natural state. Chaos may surround you, but it cannot enter. Fear may whisper, but it cannot touch you. Emotion may rise, but it cannot rule you. You will stand in the center of life as calm as a mountain, as clear as a lake, as steady as the stars. Then life itself will begin to move in your favor, not because it changed, but because you did. The external always obeys the internal. Control yourself, and the world will fall into formation. Control yourself, and the world will fall into formation. For life is not your opponent, it is your reflection. It responds not to your wishes, but to your vibration, not to your complaints, but to your composure. The man who cannot command himself is like a drummer beating out of rhythm with the band of the universe. Every motion he makes creates dissonance. But the man who governs his inner tempo, who moves in still rhythm, soon finds that everything begins to harmonize with him. This is the law of inner command. It states that all power originates in direction of thought and discipline of emotion. When these two forces work as one, reality bends. The untrained mind looks outward for control, manipulating people, chasing wealth, managing circumstances. The trained mind looks inward, realizing that all external order must first exist as internal law. To live under inner command is to never again be ruled by chance. You are no longer the passenger of emotion, but the pilot of direction. When you say, I will, it is not a wish, it is a decree. Your word becomes law because it arises from unity of thought, feeling, and purpose. Every act of stillness strengthens this authority. Each time you choose patience over panic, precision over haste, you reinforce the dominion of will. And will is not stubbornness. It is alignment with principle. The true will does not force, it directs. It is calm in command, never frantic for control. If you desire to lead others, first learn to lead yourself. Leadership is not charisma, it is coherence. Men follow the one whose mind is organized. When your words, tone, and actions move in one accord, they form resonance, and resonance compels obedience. You cannot deceive people into trusting you, but you can discipline yourself until they cannot help it. Inner command begins with language. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the subconscious. Speak rashly, and you sow weeds of confusion. Speak deliberately, and you plant pillars of confidence. The disciplined mind does not waste speech. It uses words as instruments of creation. Say only what you mean to manifest. Every promise you keep increases your authority. Every lie diminishes it. You must train your thoughts as a commander trains soldiers. Each one must have a mission. Each must serve the objective. Idle thoughts are deserters. They drain energy and weaken focus. Eliminate them with decisiveness. Allow only those that strengthen purpose, sharpen discipline, and stabilize emotion. This is not rigidity. It is organization. The mind that is organized becomes unstoppable because it wastes nothing. In this way, stillness becomes not just an internal state, but an external strategy. Your calmness disorients opponents. Your composure disarms chaos. The emotional man telegraphs his weakness through reaction. The calm man conceals his strength in silence. Silence has weight. It makes others reveal themselves while you remain concealed. Speak only when speech will build. Remain silent when silence will command. Life itself begins to reorganize under such authority. Situations that once seemed impossible begin to yield. People who once resisted begin to cooperate. Opportunities appear where there was only obstacle. This is not magic, it is magnetism. The calm mind radiates confidence. Confidence is the gravity of success. You may call this the magnetism of stillness. It is the natural attraction between order and opportunity. When your inner world operates in harmony, outer conditions are drawn into alignment. The disordered repel the ordered because their chaos cannot survive in your frequency. The organized attract the organized because like obeys like. This magnetism is subtle but immense. It draws allies, resources, timing. You begin to be in the right place at the right time because your inner timing has synchronized with universal rhythm. Luck is nothing but harmony made visible. Do not mistake this for superstition. It is science. Energy follows attention. Attention directed by discipline becomes magnetism. When your intention is clear and your emotion steady, you emit a signal so consistent that the universe cannot ignore it. The untrained sends static. The master sends signal. The still mind transmits power like a beacon. Understand this. Calmness is contagious. When you remain still, others begin to relax. They begin to trust your judgment more than their own. They surrender confusion to your clarity. This is why true leaders are calm. Their stillness becomes the center around which chaos organizes itself. They are not loud because they do not need to be. Order is its own authority. To reach this level, you must make stillness a daily discipline. Do not wait for peace to find you. Build it through repetition. Begin each morning in silence before the world demands your attention. Close your eyes and focus on breath. Count each inhale as command, each exhale as release. This trains the nervous system to associate stillness with strength. The body must learn to obey the mind, and the mind must learn to obey principle. During your day, practice micro-stillness moments of pause before decision, reflection before reaction. You will notice that even a single breath of stillness changes outcome. The words you would have spoken in haste vanish. The impulse you would have followed fades. In that space, intelligence appears. At night, review your conduct without emotion. Observe where calmness held and where reaction returned. This is not self-criticism, it is self-audit. The scientist of self must measure. Each failure of calm is a signal pointing toward growth. Study it, then correct it. Progress comes not from perfection, but from persistent refinement. Slowly, life becomes rhythm. The highs and lows that once threw you off balance lose their power. You no longer resist emotion, you redirect it. You no longer chase peace, you emanate it. The disciplined mind begins to generate its own momentum. Systems take over, habits align. Each thought reinforces another, and the structure of stillness becomes self-sustaining. You will know you have reached this stage when effort feels like ease. The external may still test you, but the internal no longer trembles. You are centered, like a pendulum that swings without leaving its origin. At this level, you understand that control is not domination, but direction. You stop trying to control outcomes. You control input. You stop trying to control people. You control presence. You stop trying to control life. You control your interpretation of it. This is ultimate command, the ability to remain sovereign within any circumstance. To master stillness is to be prepared for everything. It means that no insult can wound, no praise can intoxicate, no delay can discourage, no success can distract. You become the same in victory and defeat, in pleasure and pain. This is the unbreakable equilibrium of power. Let others live by reaction. You will live by rhythm. Let them chase movement. You will command momentum. Let them speak in noise. You will communicate through presence. You will discover that the less you strive, the more life begins to flow toward you. Opportunities once forced now appear. Relationships once strained now align. Finances, health, influence all respond to inner harmony. Because you are no longer sending contradiction, the universe no longer mirrors it. This is the secret meaning of let life move in your favor. It is not to manipulate life, but to master self so perfectly that life cannot resist cooperation. Every man seeks power, but few understand that true power requires no display. It is silent, self-contained, serene. The lion does not roar to prove strength. He roars to remind the jungle of order. Likewise, your calmness will speak for you long before your words do. Therefore, cultivate silence not as absence of sound, but as presence of control. In silence, you recharge. In stillness, you strategize. In composure, you conquer. When you reach this state, you no longer rush. You no longer beg. You no longer fear. You wait not idly, but intelligently. You act not impulsively, but inevitably. You move not frequently, but effectively. Stillness turns motion into mastery. It transforms the ordinary into the inevitable. At this point, you have become both student and source of discipline. Others will begin to study you, imitate you, seek your counsel. They will not understand how you always seem prepared, how you always appear calm, how fortune seems to meet you halfway. Tell them nothing, demonstrate everything. Teach through example. For example is louder than command. And remember, the purpose of stillness is not to escape life, but to engage it fully without being enslaved by it. You are not here to withdraw from the world, but to rule yourself within it. Detachment is not retreat, it is superiority. When the mind is still, the soul awakens. When the soul awakens, destiny unfolds. The man who has mastered his inner world no longer seeks favor, he has become favor. And now we reach the summit, the point where stillness becomes not just a method, but a state of being. This is where mastery reveals its final law, the law of inner peace. It is not the peace of comfort or convenience, but the peace of power. The peace that comes when nothing outside you can dictate what happens within you. It is the peace of knowing that all outcomes are manageable, because you have already mastered the cause yourself. At this height, life no longer feels like a battle. It feels like orchestration. Events unfold, but you remain conductor, guiding each note with the baton of awareness. The chaos that once frightened you now amuses you. The insults that once wounded you now inform you. The delays that once discouraged you now discipline you. Everything serves you because you no longer resist anything. You have learned that stillness is not escape, but engagement. You no longer run from challenges. You let them come, for they can no longer move you off center. They arrive and you absorb them. You examine, learn, adapt, and then you act not emotionally, not impulsively, but decisively. Every move is the product of calm observation, accurate thinking, and definite purpose. You see now that the universe was never chaotic. It only appeared that way to an undisciplined mind. What looked like randomness was rhythm. What felt like resistance was refinement. What seemed like rejection was redirection. Stillness has revealed the hidden order behind all things. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What law is this teaching me?" In that question lies the seed of wisdom. There is a serenity that belongs only to those who live by law. Not man's law, but the law of cause and effect, the law of rhythm, the law of mental control. To live by these is to participate consciously in creation. You are no longer a product of circumstance, you are a producer of circumstance. You no longer react to life, you write it. From this stillness flows something greater than ambition presence. Presence is the silent echo of mastery. It is the feeling others have when you enter a room before you speak a word. It is the invisible signal of authority that does not need to command because it is already obeyed. Presence cannot be imitated. It is the byproduct of inner order, the natural consequence of disciplined stillness. The world bends toward presence. Opportunities align not because you chase them, but because your vibration of certainty draws them. The undisciplined exhaust themselves in pursuit of luck. The disciplined become its embodiment. You no longer need to convince, to argue, to beg. You attract through calmness. You influence through silence. You lead through steadiness. And when others ask for your secret, you will smile, for it cannot be told, it must be lived. You have simply built a mind that does not tremble. You have organized your inner world so completely that the outer world has no choice but to obey its design. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. Arrogance says, "I am greater than life." Stillness says, "I am one with it." Arrogance seeks control through force. Stillness achieves it through flow. Arrogance fights, stillness directs. The arrogant rise quickly and collapse suddenly. The still rise slowly and endure eternally. Your work now is simple. Maintain rhythm. Continue refining, observing, adjusting. Each morning, return to silence before the noise begins. Each night, audit your thoughts before sleep. Do not permit emotion to accumulate overnight. Clear the mind daily as one cleanses a room. Small maintenance prevents great repair. When distraction tempts you, remember your law. Emotion is servant, not master. When anger provokes you, remember to assuren. Reaction is surrender. When fear visits you, remember. Fear is energy, redirect it. When fatigue whispers that discipline can wait, remember. System builds destiny, not impulse. You are not to chase motivation, for motivation is a guest that rarely stays. You are to build systems that make motivation unnecessary. You are not to wait for peace. You are to create the habits that produce it. You are not to hope for success. You are to design your mind so that success becomes inevitable. The still man lives, as nature lives by law, without strain, without resistance, without confusion. He does not rush the sunrise or fear the sunset. He acts in season and rests in season. He trusts the process because he has become the process. His calmness is not learned. It is earned through obedience to principle. You will know you have reached this mastery when movement no longer disturbs you. You will move through cities full of noise and remain inwardly silent. You will sit among conflict and remain undisturbed. You will succeed without pride and fail without despair. You will love without dependence and lose without collapse. You will give freely, work deliberately, rest confidently. That is the unshakable mind. At this level, success ceases to feel like struggle. You are no longer striving to achieve, you are allowing achievement to unfold. You are no longer chasing opportunity, you are inviting it through vibration. You are no longer seeking meaning, you are expressing it. This is not philosophy. It is power at peace with itself. Let the world continue to run in circles, desperate for validation, enslaved by comparison, addicted to reaction. Let them. You have found something rarer, composure. You have found the freedom of one who has nothing to prove, the authority of one who cannot be provoked, the peace of one who no longer negotiates with emotion. You will find in your stillness that the world moves faster to serve you. You will accomplish more through calm direction than others through frantic effort. You will find that the most profitable hour of your day is the hour of silence. In that silence, your ideas will assemble themselves, your strategies will clarify, your confidence will renew. That hour will be your power. Guard it. And when the day comes that you look back on all you have built, the results, the relationships, the respect, you will know that none of it came from luck. It came from law. You obeyed the law of stillness, and the law rewarded you. For as surely as gravity pulls the stone to earth, stillness pulls success to its source. So now, remember this final truth. You do not rise by force, you rise by order. You do not conquer the world, you command yourself. You do not dominate others, you master your own mind. And once you have mastered that, all else falls in line. Be still and let life move in your favor. For the world bows not to the loud, nor to the restless, nor to the impulsive. It bows to the calm. It follows the disciplined. It serves the one who no longer serves his emotions. That one can never be stopped because he no longer needs to run. He has become what all seek, the calm center of inevitable success.